Hello, Blitz fans of all ages, it's me, PlumCastle, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Dune Part 2 event. Now, in case you don't know, Dune Part 2 is a new movie that is going to be coming out very soon. I haven't really been keeping track, but I have been aware of it, and as you can see here in my garage, I am currently showing a Halloween tank. Now, it might seem completely unrelated, but the reason I'm showing this in particular is because this event, in case you're familiar with Halloween events, is structured very, very similarly. Before I purchased the $12 bundle and before these two things popped up, I actually had an option to spend that $12 to unlock 10 levels plus the ability to get 2 extra daily missions. Now, I'll be showing you how to go through the event as well as the rewards in it. But first, let's go ahead and explain how to get through it. Like I said, there was that thing to purchase. However, you can progress through part of this event completely for free. And the way you do that is by completing your daily missions. You'll be getting some of these, I forgot what that little item is called, but it's something like spice. But basically, as you can see here, fight one battle and you get 100 of these, destroy 2 tanks. It'll be different for each person and it'll be different from day to day. But generally speaking, you're going to have these 10 missions here, and those will each give you 100. I believe this one right here is free though, and it has specifically to do with the event. Win 2 battles and you get 200. So there's this special mission, but these 2 missions at the bottom, which are in gold or yellow, those are the ones that you can only unlock through paying. Now there are 2 bundles available. They are the more affordable $12 bundle, and with that you will be able to get up past the tank that you see here, which we'll look at in just a second. And then you can buy this really expensive $34 one, and that'll get you an extra 25 levels on top of the 10 as long as you purchase this other one, and these spice boosters, which I'll also explain. But basically speaking, free to play, you're probably going to be able to get somewhere. It's a little bit hard to say, I didn't do the calculation, but you're going to end up somewhere before the tank, because of course Wargaming wants you to spend money. In order to get the tank, you're going to have to at least get the $12 bundle. And then of course, if you want to go beyond and go all the way to the end of the event, you'd have to purchase this full $24 bundle plus that other $12. So all in all, not including tax, you're looking at probably something around $36 to get it all the way through the event, which is pretty pricey. However, $12 is an okay price probably to be getting to the tank, and we'll take a look at the stats of the tank as well. Another way that you can get these little spice things is with the spice booster. Basically what that does, if we take a look at the little eye right here, if you enable one of these spice boosters in a battle, you'll be given 500 of these spice units, regardless of the outcome of the battle. Win, lost, maybe you totally tanked, maybe you got like pretty much no XP. Doesn't seem that it matters, because you're going to be getting 500 anyway. And to be clear, just to specify, one level is 1,000 of these spice things. So your 10 daily missions will get you a level, plus those extra missions, depending on what you did or did not buy, will get you a little bit more per day. And then, as you can see here, these little spice boosters are sprinkled out through here. So starting off, you will have 7, which will mean you get 3.5 levels, which is pretty cool if you play those games. So now that I've explained how to get through the event, let me go ahead and now explain what the rewards are. Now, I'm not going to go into like really small ones like credit boosters or really any kind of tiny boosters unless it is the spice boosters, because we've all seen those. Even gold boosters nowadays are pretty prevalent in games. What we're going to be looking at are the unique items. Of course, we already took a look at the spice boosters. As you can see, they're sprinkled all throughout this event chain. On top of that, we also have this quest, though we're going to take a look at what the quest is. Win 18 battles, you have 5 days to complete it, and you will get a collectible item, 50,000 credits, another collectible item, plus 100,000 credits, and then an avatar. So you're going to get a bunch of things. I'm going to guess these are probably in a chain, but it may just be all for that one mission. Either way, it's kind of like a mission within an event. As well, you can see there is this new kind of crate, and this is a Dune container because, well, I mean, that makes sense. So you have drop chances, and as you can see, you could potentially get gold. There is this camouflage, which Let's take a look at the... Ooh. Okay, that is actually pretty interesting. I don't know that it'll actually have that whole animation in the game, or if it does, it'll probably be just at the beginning. Still, that is a fairly interesting look for the mouse. Now, as far as I can tell, that is specific to the mouse. That is not going to be available on other tanks, which is a little bit unfortunate. This is the Sandworm camouflage, which is a little bit less interesting. It's a little bit too clear to me that this is a texture being repeated over and over. But on a smaller tank with a lot more curvature, it's probably going to be a little bit less noticeable that this is just a repeat texture. Either way, it's interesting, though not as interesting. And then, of course, in these containers, you also have a chance to get 100 to 1,000 of these spice items. So now if we take a look in here, the drop chances are, as we could expect, it's very low for 5,000 gold. It's like 0.5%. There's also this worm rider profile background, which I forgot to show. This profile is really cool. I hope I get lucky and get it, but at a 3% drop chances, I'm not exactly anticipating that that will happen, and I have no intention of spending the $40 or so to be able to complete the event and get more of these containers, because 3% drop chance just isn't enough to convince me. And then for the spice, 100 is 60%, 200 is 25%, 500 is 10%, so there is a real chance that you may get one, and 5% for the 1,000. So the chances are there, but you're probably more likely to get less out of it. There are also several collectible items in this chain here. As you can see, this one is the ballast set collectible item, and you can get 3,750 free XP for it. Knowing me, that will probably sit and rot in my garage, as has every other collectible I've ever gotten, pretty much. So the camouflages, or at least the sandworm camouflage, does actually appear multiple times in the event track itself. As well, there is this avatar, the Gurney Halleck avatar. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing these names correctly. It has been 2 years since I even saw the first Dune film. And look at that, we have Drax the Destroyer, I mean Beast Raven. But aside from that, we have some other interesting rewards here. First of which here is the Groundtank. Now this is the special tier 7 tank, special tier 8 tank. That would explain why it felt so strong in battle. Yeah, it's definitely not a tier 7. A tier 8 tank, and it is a heavy tank. Now from what I've seen, the armor on here is pretty thick, and we're going to take a quick glance at the stats. I don't have this tank yet, so I can't give a full review on it, but I can take a look at the stats and kind of determine, generally speaking, how it is. Desert Force, I believe this is, yes, so on desert maps, you're going to be able to have better terrain crossing capacity, so you're going to be able to maintain top speed a little bit more. It's pretty nice. It unfortunately only works on desert maps, so it's like this tank's abilities kind of vary depending on the map type. In terms of hit points, 1,900, I guess that's fine. Main armor, turret, 223 millimeters, and yeah, it seems fairly well armored, especially if you look at this. That is a ton of track, so not only is the turret going to be fairly strong, at least against something that doesn't have the highest caliber gun. On top of that, you're looking at tracks. Now, I don't know like how easily it is to get damage while breaking the tracks, but considering it is tracks, things like AG or heat rounds are going to be very interesting to go up against this tank. I'm going to guess that it's probably fairly easy to hit that little lower plate, although again, it is hidden so far behind the tracks, it's not even funny. I'm going to guess, based on looking at this, that the side armor, it's going to be fairly easy to penetrate. I'm not sure about, I guess it can be HE'd somewhere, although the shape of this looks very interesting. I don't know if any of that's going to act as spaced armor. But anyway, that's enough of the armor. View range 240, nothing really special there. Concealment, maybe the concealment while moving is higher than when it's stationary. I'm not sure that's correct, but anyway, according to this, while stationary, you've got a concealment of 12%. While moving, you've got a concealment of 61%. And upon firing while stationary, you've got 3. So it drops pretty far down. In terms of damage per minute, 1,700. That's not too bad. That's not super great either. Reload time 15.53. In terms of average penetration, you're looking at 217 for the AP rounds, 270 for the APCR rounds, and then 62 for the high explosive. And those are the penetration values, so which means that honestly, the premium rounds on this tank are really the only thing that's going to be going through that turret and even the hull in some places. Average damage is 440 for the AP rounds, 370 for the APCR, and 580 for the high explosive. Makes sense. It's a slower reload, but it seems like it's got a pretty beefy alpha. Aiming time 5.6 seconds. That is fairly slow, actually. Dispersion at 100 meters is 0.393, which is approaching 4, which is definitely not the most accurate tank in the world. Gun turn limit in terms of gun elevation, 15 degrees, gun depression, 9 degrees. The 9 degrees is pretty cool. Forward speed, 37, reverse, 12, average speed, 24. The rest of these stats become a little bit less important in my opinion, but overall it seems like it's going to be like a normal heavy tank, although it's probably going to be at least somewhat strong given that this is a paid-for tank. There is another profile background in this chain, though, and in my opinion, this doesn't look as good as the Worm Rider one, but, I mean, considering you can get this pretty much guaranteed if you just grind through it, I believe that this is probably somewhere close to the cutoff mark for the $12 bundle. It's a little bit hard to do an exact calculation because not everybody is getting every single daily mission, but around here is probably where it's going to be at. There's more of these containers. There's this other avatar, although the House Carino avatar, I mean, I guess it looks interesting. I'm sure there's probably some sort of lore aspect to that in the movies. And then we have another mission here, which if we take a look at this one, is this is the Beast Raban quest. And in here we have, oh, okay, in here you can get a House Harkonnen. So this is a different clan, I guess. House Harkonnen avatar, sand and spice camouflage, and the Beast Raban avatar. Okay. Unfortunately, they do not show me what those look like, which would have been kind of nice to know, but it is there. And we have this other camouflage here, which is, oh, this is the sand and spice camouflage. Almost looks like a tiger, just given that it's orange and black, but it's apparently not. Lots of credits strewn through here, as you can see, 200,000, 300,000. I know credits are a bit more normal, but that is quite a few. And then all the way at the end, if you manage to grind, you can infinitely, and I say that with quotes because, I mean, there's only so much that you can do, but you can infinitely grind these particular containers at the end, and assuming that you unlock a bunch of levels, you're either going to run out of missions or gold or both to be able to get those, which is why there's technically a soft limit, but depending on the user, you could get maybe a dozen or so, maybe even more, maybe less. But anyway, that is my video on this particular event. Overall, I think it's pretty interesting, and as a last thing to do, I'll go ahead and claim one of these crates to see if maybe, just maybe, I'm lucky enough to get that. Oh, and here's the quest. As you can see, this is what they look like in terms of the items. This is that first quest that we saw in the chain. And then let's go ahead and open that particular container that we got. Okay, I had that for a while, but this is the container that we're actually looking for. But anyway, that does, again, pretty much conclude that 100 gold. Nice. This does conclude the video. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty decent event. Of course, in order to get the tank, you're going to have to spend money, but I would say it's a pretty cool event, and I was not anticipating a collaboration between Wargaming and Dune. It does seem pretty interesting. But anyway, with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.